and welcome back to my channel. So today we will start off with our arbitrary keyword arguments, our two asterisk quarks. So our homework was, what is the output of this code? The def.my function, the two asterisks, print his last name is kid, L name, my function, F name equals to Toby's, L name equals to references. So sometimes when you're coding, you might, like, if you want to, or if you have to, you might put like an unnecessary part like in a code, or an unnecessary script, an unnecessary line of code. So in this one, we have the F name, which we don't need, but it's more efficient if we put it, like, it depends on the person. So in the F name, it's Thomas, which is a first name. The L name is Refness. So if you're printing if you print the second line, you're gonna add the kid's L name. So it's going to be, his last name is Refness. The following example shows how to use default parameter value. If we call the function without argument, it uses a default value. And so the example is def.my function, country equal to Norway, print I am from country, my function Sweden, my function India, my function blank, my function Brazil. So in all of these, you have, so the empty one is for Norway. Now it's going to print I am from Sweden, I am from India, I am from Norway, I am from Brazil. Passing a list as an argument. You can send any data types of arguments to a function, string, number, list, dictionary, etc. And it will be treated as the same data type inside the function. Return values. To let a function use the return to let a function return a value, use a return statement. The pass statement. Function definition cannot be empty, but if you, for some reason, have a function definition with no content, put the pass statement to avoid getting an error. Recursion. Python also accepts function recursions, which means a defined function can call itself. Recursions is a common mathematical and programming concept. It means that a function calls itself. So this has a benefit of meaning that you can loop through data to reach a result. But you should be very careful with the recursion, as it can be quite easy to slip into a writing function which never terminates, or one that uses excess amount of memory or processor power. However, when written correctly, recursion can be very efficient and mathematically elegant approach to programming. Now we move on to Python Lambda. A Lambda function is a small anonymous function. A Lambda function can take any number of arguments but can only have one expression. So the syntax for Lambda, Lambda arguments, expression. The expression is executed and the result is returned. An example is add 10 to the argument a and return the result. X equal to lambda a colon a plus 10, print x 5. So the output's going to be 15, because a would equal to 5, and then because it's saying x is equal to 5. So, because 5 plus 10 is going to be 15. Lambda functions can take any number of arguments. It can take a lot of arguments. Why use lambda functions? The power of lambda is better shown when you use them as an anonymous function instead of another function. Or use the same function definition to make a function that always triples the number you send it in. Or use the same function definition to make both functions in the same program. Use lambda functions when an anonymous function is required for a short period of time. Python arrays. No, Python does not have built-in support for arrays, but Python lists can be used instead. So we have learned about Python lists in the previous chapter. So arrays are used to store multiple values in one single variable. Cars equal to Ford, Volvo, BMW. What is an array? An array is a special variable which can hold more than one value at one time. If you have a list of items, a list of car names, for example, storing the cars in single variables could look like this. Car 1 equal to Ford, car 2 equal to Volvo, car 3 equal to BMW. However, what if you want to loop through the cars and find a specific one? And what if you had not 3 cars but 300? The solution is an array. An array can hold many values under one single name. You can access the values by referring to the index number. You refer to an array element by referring to the index number. As we learned before, that always in Python, the index number starts with 0. So the number 1 is going to be 0, number 2 is going to be 1, number 3 is going to be 2. So in this one here, this is in Python, this would be car number 0, car number 1, and car number 2. So it's one number less. The length of an array. Use the len function. We have used the len function many times before. So use the len method to return the length of an array. Note, the length of an array is always one more than the highest array index. Looping through array elements. You can use the for in loop to loop through all the elements of an array. Adding array elements. You can use the append method to add an element to array. Removing array elements. You can use the pop, the remove methods. They both remove an element, just an element from the array. But in the remove method, you can use the name, and in the pop method, you use a number. So for today, and our homework is going to be to do the Python arrays exercise, and in case we haven't done one of the exercises, finish that up. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Also, if you haven't yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and ring the notification. Bye bye.